add an interface to the game, we need first of all to create a font. So we're going to the fonts folder, right click and select create font. We're going to type here fnt_Arial because there is the Arial font, but you can choose whatever you want here. Let's keep the size at 20 and we're going to use bold here. And we're going to click OK to save that font. Now we're going to the game controller here. We're going to click on add event, and this time we're going to use draw and then draw GUI. Okay, we're doing this because GUI means graphical user interface. That is where we're going to make some text. So let's drag a text block. We're going to type here draw a text. Okay, simple as that. And we're going to draw here. We're going to set a few things here. First of all, we're going to type draw_set_font, and as an argument we're going to use fnt_Arial. Then draw_set_color, and we're going to use here c_white. It's lowercase, looks like this. And finally we're going to use draw_text. This function receives 3 arguments: the x position, the horizontal position, the vertical position, which is y, and then the text that we're going to type. And so let's type here 10 as x and 10 as y. And for adding a string, so for adding a text, you're going to enclose whatever text you're going to write in double quotes. And we're going to type here collect as much targets as you can. Okay, actually let's use collect targets. That I think the previous string would look too large. Okay, so we have the collect targets message. Let's click on run the game to test this out. So we see an interface here, and after we are done with that, we need to count the score for the player so we know how many targets we have to collect. Okay, so we have that collect targets message there, nice and easy. So let's move on to the next lesson to count our score. See you soon. Let's add the score logic to the player. Other game engines would require you to create a variable and then keep a reference to it. It will be a little complicated, not so hard, but still a bit complicated. GameMaker already provides us with a very cool, handy variable which can be accessed by any object. So we can go here to the target object where we collide with the player. Let's open our check collision code, and here where we check that the player and the target, they contain the same color, we're simply going to type score ++. So what happened here? Why did we write this? Score is a variable accessed by every object in the game that stores the score of the game. Okay, and when we type ++, this is the same as typing score equals to score +1. Okay, this is an abbreviation. So when we type it like this, we are saying to the code, we're telling the code that we want to assign something to the score space of memory. Now, what is that thing? What are we going to score? We're going to get the value that we have in the score memory, and we're going to increase 1. So if the score is 0, then the score is going to become 1. If it is 1, it is going to become 2. If it is 2, it is going to become 3, and so it keeps going like that. Every time we collect one target, then score is incremented by 1. So that's why we write score ++ here. And now we need to show that score in the interface. So we're going to the game controller and draw GUI where it says draw text. And here, this is what we're going to do. I want you to type a hashtag character. Okay, and what this does, it starts a new line of text. So it doesn't matter what is the size of your font, you're going to basically press enter in whatever you're typing that. You could of course add another line in here that says draw text and then 10 in X and 34 in Y, and then type other text here. However, if you change the size of your font, then you would have to manually check for every text that you added in your game and review the position. So we can just add this hashtag character here to start a new line. So now we're going to type score, then add a colon, and after that string we're going to concatenate with another string. Okay, so strings can be concatenated. You can put a string right at the end of another one, by using the plus sign here. It's like you're adding numbers, but now you're adding strings. And with the string function, we can turn any number into a string. So for example, if you try to do this, if you type score, colon, then plus 24, this wouldn't work because 24 is a number. It needs to be a string. So you can enclose that number with the string function. Okay. So you can close it with the string function. And of course, we're not going to use 24 here. We're simply going to use score. So it looks like this. Okay, so let's give this a try. We're going to hit run the game, wait for the code to compile and our window to open. And after that, we should be able to see our game score. So we have our player, it says score 0, and for every target that we collect, the score is increased. Okay, so it looks like this. And in the next video, we're going to learn how to add a very simple timer to the game that is going to keep track of how much time we have left. And then after it is done, it says the final score of the player. And that was a close one now. I don't know if you saw it. And okay, it should be interesting. See you in the next video. GameMaker internally contains a timer that counts how many milliseconds have passed since your game started. So we're going to use this in our advantage to make a very simple game timer. So let's go to the game controller object. We're going to click on add event and select create. Okay, let's drag a code block here, and we're going to type here a target time. Okay, we're going to make a instance variable here that is going to be current underscore time plus 15,000. What are we doing here? Target time is it's a timer that is going to store the end of the game. So for example, if current time is 3 seconds, let's say that for some reason the game started after 3 seconds that the window opened. Target time is going to be that 3 seconds plus 15 seconds, which is 15,000 milliseconds. So this is the target time. When the current time reaches that target time, then the game is going to be over. Okay, so we set that target time to be that. Now this is going to be clearer to you when we open the game controller and we're going to the draw text code block here. So now we're going to add a new line here after the score string. Let's add a hashtag string and then add string. Actually, after the hashtag, let's type time left, then a colon, and now we're going to type string to make a string function here. And the text that we're going to add here is target underscore time minus current underscore time. Okay, let's put these two variables in parentheses and divide by 1,000. Okay, this might look a bit complicated. Let me show you what did we do. We started a new line that says time left, then colon, and of course we're going to add the time here. Now we're going to convert a number into a string. That's why we call the string function and we put parentheses here. Now between parentheses, between these highlighted parentheses here, we are making a subtraction. We're getting the target time and subtracting current time. Okay, so we're going to get how much time we have left. And we're going to divide that by 1,000, so we get the time in seconds instead of milliseconds. Okay, so let's give this a try. We're going to click on run the game, wait for the code to compile, to see if we mess the parentheses here somehow, but I think it should be okay. There we go. The game opens and we have a time left here. Alright, so we had a target time, we keep checking the current time, and we're going to check how much time we have left before it reaches the time of 15 seconds. If you want your game to run longer, you can just change that 15,000 that we added there for another number. Okay, so after these 15 seconds have passed, the timer reaches 0, and then it will go to a negative number. Okay, so that is the moment where we should change our text. Okay, when time reaches 0, we're going to say game over, your score is X. Okay, your score is 12 in that case. So how do we do this? Where we say draw text here, we need to make a verification first. We need to check if, and then we're going to put here if current underscore time is greater than target underscore time. If it is greater, then it means our timer reaches 0. Okay, so we put this draw text function call inside this if block. Okay, actually we use less, okay, for what we're doing here. If current underscore time is lesser than the target time, then we're going to say collect targets. Your score is 20, for example, and you have that amount of time left. Now we're going to add an else block here. So if current time is greater or equal than target time, then it means the game over. So we're going to say draw underscore text 10 10, and we're going to add here, we're going to use game over your score, then a colon. Now we're going to concatenate with the string, which is going to contain the score variable. And finally, let's add another string here with a new line. We start with a hashtag, and we're going to say press R to restart. Okay, so we close parentheses here, and this is how it should look like. Now, let's give this a try. I'm going to show you something. It's going to have a funny behavior here. Let's click on run the game. Let's wait for the code to be compiled, and there we go. Every game we have 14 seconds, 13, so we keep collecting as much targets as we can. Let me rub between the screen, and 4, 3. After the game is done, we should receive a message that says game over, your score 10. However, if I keep collecting, then the score is going to keep incrementing here. So we have to kind of tell the game that we don't want the score to be added. All right. So how do we do this? When we reach this else block here, we can add something here. We can say global.isGameOver equals to true. Okay, so that means that the game is over, the game finished, if we reached this block here. Also, let's go to the game controller in the create piece of code, and we're going to add here global.isGameOver equals to false. Okay, so when the game starts, the game controller is going to say that the game is running, so is game over is false. Okay, now here, if current time is greater than target time, then is game over is true. And in the target, whenever we collide with the player, we need to check before we increment the score. So if global.isGameOver equals to false, so it means the game is running, then we're going to increment our score. Okay, let's give this a try. And notice that we use global because there's a global variable. We can access it by any object. Okay, it is different than the instance variable, so anyone can access this. So let's give this a try. There we go. We have 14 seconds to collect everything we can. Let's try to make a good score here and use the screen. Oh my god, one spawned right in front of me. Sometimes this happens and you have to be very careful while you're playing the game. Okay, so let me try stopping for a while so this finishes. So we have 9 seconds left. The score counter should stop counting once the timer reaches 0. So I'll try to collect another one. And time finishes, the score is 3. If I collect, the score won't increase anymore because the isGameOver variable is holding true. Alright, so everything that we need to do now is we need to restart the game. So we're going to learn how to do this in the next lesson. Everything that we need to do now is to restart the game once we press the R key. So let's go to the game controller. We're going to click on Add Event. Let's select Key Press. Then we're going to letters and we're going to select R. Okay, so when the R key is pressed. And now, instead of just writing code, we can come here to the main 2 tab in the actions panel, and we can use this action block here, which is restart the game. So by simply dragging it here and running the game, every time you press R, the game is restarted. So you can force a restart, okay? You not just wait for a collision between the player and a wrong target, but you can just force it like that. Okay, so we can test the full flow of the game. We can collide as much targets as we can. Okay, so 8, 10, oh my god, that was close. So get all of them. And you see, by just making a very simple logic, we have an interesting mechanic going on here. You have to be careful not to collide with a target that spawns in front of the player. Okay, so let's wait 3 seconds, 2, 1, and the game is over. If you press R, the game restarts. And that should be it for this game. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you want to see more tutorials on game development or programming, you can just go to mammoethinteractive.com for lots and lots of courses in there. And my name is Glaucopidis, and thank you for watching. See you next time.